you have to think to yourself, what would you do in that scenario? Because this is how the celebrities think, the movie stars think, is they realize that billions of people are going to see them. It's going to mean a lot for their career. Let's say they're a young single man and they realize that they could get a lot of women off this, a lot more job opportunities, interviews, Men's Health are going to come knocking. They might get some endorsement deals with fitness supplement companies. They go and take steroids for maybe 6 months to a year and then never do it again.
Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up. Virgil got a paddock on my wrist going nuts. Niggas call me.
Welcome back to another episode of Versus, guys. I hope you're enjoying these. I've got so many more loaded up. Can't wait to get these out. On this episode, we're going to be talking about steroids versus natural, or roided versus natural. I think we all know there's side effects to steroids, right? But there are different levels of steroids. There's a few caveats to this one. So every steroid doesn't make you purple and turn you into a bodybuilder. Some steroids are used by soccer players or footballers, however you want to say it, if you're from Europe or America. There's a lot of, I pretty much think the 95% of top level athletes are using some level of steroids, but it's hard to notice because they're not using the ones, like I said, that get you jacked, make your skin go purple, make your hair fall out. Sometimes they're using SARMs, EPO, they're using HGH for quicker recovery. There's a lot of steroids that are used by small, skinny guys. For example, Xavi, who's a footballer, spelled Xavi. He played for Barcelona. He was a Spanish international, centre midfield player, probably one of the greatest ever. And it was announced on live TV. I don't know if it was live, but it was announced on TV, a program called Revista de la Liga, that he was taking the hormone HGH to improve recovery, which is actually banned. This an illegal substance, but nobody really knew, especially the guy who was saying it. Then later, his club denied that he was on it. And bearing in mind, this guy's around about 5'7", quite a skinny guy, maybe in his early 30s, doesn't look like he's on steroids. If you saw him walking down the road in a hoodie, you'd think he was a gamer. And it's pretty obvious that they're using it over in Barcelona. Now, not to go off topic on what we're here to discuss, but not all steroids are the same. Now, that doesn't mean that you should definitely use them. I'm just saying that everybody's kind of perspective on what steroids are going to do and why they shouldn't use them is very wrong. So they don't all work in the same way. Some of them give you just more energy, allow you to recover quicker, flood more oxygen into the body, or more red blood cells into the body. Here's the problem, is it's the long-term effects of any steroids. So we all know that natural is great, but it takes a long time. We all know that steroids are bad in many different senses. Some are worse than others. But we also know, I think this is universally accepted, that they do get results, and they get inhuman results that you normally wouldn't be able to achieve. Now, I'll tell you one group of people who also know this outside of athletes, and that is celebrities, especially movie stars. Now, if you look at any body transformation, let's say Michael B. Jordan, Henry Cavill, let's say anybody who's ever been in a Marvel film who's had to take their top off and look in great shape. I saw the Morbius trailer came out yesterday, and Jared Leto is looking shredded. Now, it's very, very likely, and it's pretty much 100% known, that any celebrity that has to go through a body transformation in Hollywood for a big film gets on steroids of some kind. Now, they don't have to be, you don't have to be the world's strongest man. You don't have to be on those steroids, but they'll maybe take things like clenbuterol, Winstrol, things that will strip the body fat off very, very quickly, as well as giving you testosterone boost. So you're going to be big and lean, or at least bigger and leaner than you were, especially lean. If you look at somebody like Hugh Jackman, the guy, people always write articles about this guy's in his late 40s or early 50s and he's in the best shape of his life. How does he do it? It's steroids. Like everybody who's got a brain knows this, right? He works with He works with trainers that are well known for it, trainers that used to work in the MMA communities when steroids were accepted in organizations like the UFC and K1 and Pride. And then that's his trainers. So you know what they're using. And Steve Walker was on the podcast the other day, and he was speaking about a guy who used to train Ben Affleck. And he said that, yeah, he mentioned that Ben Affleck has taken, some substances that have definitely helped him.
But he's a personal trainer to the stars. So he's trained Ben Affleck for the recent Batman films, Bruce Willis, Sly Stallone.
Any steroids?
25 years in the Hollywood business.
Any steroids? Any secrets?
Well, exactly. He couldn't divulge too much.
Yeah.
He was very candid. We asked him about Ben Affleck.
But we can.
He said, there are certain techniques we used.
Yeah.
He said, so basically, yeah, but he wouldn't say it.
And the point that I'm trying to make here is, I'm not condoning steroids, and I'm going to tell you up front that I'm going to say natural is better for health reasons and to cover my ass legally, because I don't want people to go and take steroids and then come back to me and complain. But here is the second caveat to this, and it's a tricky one. If you got asked tomorrow to be the new Batman or the new Superman or the new Wolverine, which looks as though that's going to be a likely role for somebody at some point, especially with Hugh Jackman playing the role before, you know that maybe billions of people are going to watch Wolverine throughout. Definitely over 1 billion are going to watch him. Maybe not in the first film, but over time, at least 1 billion people are going to see you as Wolverine on the big screen and, at home on their screens. So you have to think to yourself, what would you do in that scenario? Because this is how the celebrities think, the movie stars think, is they realize that billions of people are going to see them. It's going to mean a lot for their career. Let's say they're a young single man and they realize that they could get a lot of women off this, a lot more job opportunities, interviews, Men's Health are going to come knocking. They might get some endorsement deals with fitness supplement companies. They go and take steroids for maybe 6 months to a year and then never do it again. Or maybe for the next film, but then they're already in shape, so they don't have to do it for as long. But I think personally, in that scenario, if somebody said to me, you've got to be the new Wolverine in the next, or let's be a little bit more accurate, you can be the next God of War, right? I think I could pull that off. I'm pretty sure I would go and take at least 6 months of steroids just to get in the best shape of my life and then never take them again. So on that debate of steroids versus, that was the previous one, on steroids versus natural, I believe natural is best in every single circumstance, 99.9% of the time, unless there's one hell of a prize waiting for you on the other side. And this is what a lot of guys do in normal modern life, is they believe that if they take steroids for 6 months to a year and train their ass off and dedicate themselves to this one thing, maybe go and train twice a day, 6 days a week, they're going to have the perfect body, and then they get off steroids. Testosterone comes back after about 3 to 6 months based on the half-life measurements. If you're on steroids for a year, it usually takes about 6 months for your testosterone to come back. If you're on steroids for 6 months, it usually takes about 3 months for your normal, natural testosterone production to come back. So a lot of guys will think, I'll go on steroids for 6 months, get in the best shape of my life. In 3 months, my normal testosterone will come back and I'll just stay on top of my fitness and the muscle that I've built, because it remains afterwards, right? So a lot of guys are doing that in modern society, and I'm not encouraging that. I'm always saying natural. But everybody has a barometer. Now, yours might be getting offered 20 million to play the new Wolverine. Yours might be being able to get some more women on weekends. You want a hot girl down the road, she ignores you, you get in great shape, suddenly she pays you a little bit more attention, you get to take her out on a date. Maybe that's your barometer. Maybe that's the reason for you using steroids. Maybe somebody who's at the top of their game only wants to take them for 6 months to be the new Wolverine, like we said. The decision is really up to you. I don't think it's going to have the worst consequences on your body if you did just do that, which is what most celebrities do. The only problem is you're not doing them in a controlled environment like these celebrities are. You know, somebody like The Rock is paying like £20,000 to £40,000 a month for the steroids that he's using, and it's a top level concoction that's been personalized and put together by doctors, private doctors that he's probably hired, right? So even though there's massive prizes to be won, you have to decide, you personally have to decide if it's worth the health risks based on the massive prize in your eyes that you think you're going to get off the back of using steroids. So my opinion would be always to do it naturally. Takes a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it. And in the long run, I think natural always wins out. But at the end of the day, the choice is yours.
100,000 for the cheapest ring on the neck finger, little bitch. Ooh, I done flew one out to Spain to be in my domain, automata bitch. Ooh, draw 3.